We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Saturday night. Welcome to another Vikings Uncensored. We have kind of hit the mini lull, I guess you'll say, in what is pretty much a year-round thing for the NFL. Super Bowl, of course, over last weekend. And now we've got a couple of weeks until free agency starts. So a lot of stuff floating around, rumors, discussions, talking points, things like that. So tonight we're just going to kind of do an open forum, kind of hit some of the hot rumors and legitimate stuff that's coming up, and kind of throw in our discussion on why it's JJ McCarthy time as well. And anything you guys have in the chat, throw it up on there as well, and
open
we will discuss it. Oh, yep, it's just kind of a free for all tonight, a little bit more than normal than we usually do, but got a good amount of people in the chat already. I see. Good evening, Ant. Good evening, Norsefius. Drewster is in the house. Bob Swede. Larkin puts the USA up 2-1 in the World Battle Hockey deal. Norsefius, of course, we have the 9 o'clock Norsefius versions once again, so at least he's here this time again. So hold on, I gotta get that down here. Hit the like on the way in. Thank you, Norsefius. Yes, make sure you do that. If you like our show, if you give us a like, give us a follow, give us a thumbs up, all that kind of good stuff, and we really appreciate that. It helps us out a ton as we go along. So
no beer, Ant. No beer.
No beer tonight either. I got a water, but
More beer.
Anywho,
Mug.
Yeah. Few of the things that are kind of going around. Ant brought it up here just a minute ago in the Studwell with the blood on the pads. Yeah, that's always one of the most iconic Vikings pictures I've seen in quite a while. But
Drew's got a good one right away there. Yes, I hope we go after Williams. Milt Williams. Yes.
For me, yes, the IDL, it would be a great. I think that's one of the top things that we do hit. I
think Williams is a good glove for this hand.
Yeah, I do too, and I think he's going to be a target. I think you go after one, proven guy there.
I think that and you know what, a cherry on top. His last name is Williams.
Yeah,
and
the last name Williams has always done us pretty well on that defensive line. So.
And the thing is a lot of these guys, the Vikings have a history of bringing in these guys on their second contracts, especially at defensive tackle position, that turned out to be pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the other thing with this, there's more than Milton Williams out there. I mean, he's obviously, I think, one of the top targets.
I think his price tag went up a little bit after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it did, but that really hasn't shied away from it before. I think you can probably get something good done there. The other place I think that you need to address in free agency more so than the draft is your interior offensive line.
Yeah.
You know what?
That should be our top fucking need, to be honest with you, Rhino.
Yeah,
That
it
was our top.
absolutely.
That was our top worry going into the season was the interior offensive line.
We have been beating the drum on that for the 5 years that we've been doing this show. Almost 5 years.
5 years and 2
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah, but they haven't fixed it.
No.
And
like I said last week, I don't think they've had the money and cap space to properly address the interior of the offensive line until now.
Yeah. Mekhi Becton Norsvius, that is a name that's definitely on the list. He's a guy who would fit in here really well. He's got the position flexibility. He can kick out and play tackle. Struggled a bit at tackle, but when they moved him into guard, he's played very well.
Interior offensive line, we've just been plugging in Tom, Dick, and Harry, for the last fucking half decade or more.
Yeah.
And then taking a swing on Bradbury and missing.
And then we took another swing and missed again with Bradbury. So, I mean, I know that they like him because he's smart and he can call, he's able to call the
be an offensive line coach.
Yeah, because you can't have a center who has no anchor and can't get leverage. And we've talked about that. I don't know how many freaking times that Garrett Bradbury is never going to get that anchor. He's what?
No, we should have seen that anchor be done with 2 years ago. Was when he should have established himself as a player. We've given him 5 fucking years.
Yeah.
And we have not seen any sort of improvement in his play at that center position. He might have the know-it-all and the wherewithal up here, but his physical traits aren't fucking pulling it.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, everybody looks at Trey Smith as a sexy pick at guard for interior offensive line.
There's quality linemen available.
There is. I mean, Will Freeze is a guy we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. I'm
not going to cry if we don't get Trey Smith.
No, I'm not either, and I think Trey Smith is going to be priced himself pretty much out of. He struggled.
I like Fries. I really like Fries. I do.
I do. And
if we can get him and Kelly together.
Yeah, you bring in that whole right or the center right of the Indy offensive line. I'd be okay with that. Like I said, Ryan Kelly's not a spring chicken anymore, but
I loved your take last week on the center position and how we should address it.
Yeah.
Not through the draft, but we want a guy that can be an asset for his quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. And a guy like Ryan Kelly would be perfect for that. I mean, Drew Dahlman, I'm a big Dahlman fan as well.
Yes.
If we can get one of those two guys at center, I'm going to be very happy. Bob is pissed. He watched the Super Bowl, can't get the time back. Yeah. Norcius rolling in with a good one here. Why do you think Kwesi has not been extended yet? That's one I wanted to bring up. So
I think it's coming, and I believe that a lot of it has to do with how this what they think of this draft coming up as far as how he swings things and the off season this year.
And that very well might be. I wouldn't be surprised if it's done before that, but they very well.
I think a lot of talk goes on within the organ. I think everybody kind of knows what's going on that's in the building right now, as far as that goes. And I think that's kind of the way it's been for a while. But then the media or whoever takes it, they're like, oh my God, they haven't been extended by this time. Something crazy is going to happen. But I think, there's talks.
Yeah. And they might, for, again, the knock on Kwesi, and we hear it every time it's brought up is, the draft, because he completely pissed, the 2023 draft or 2022 draft, down his leg.
I like Kwesi.
I do too. And this is an interesting thing that was brought up. Our buddy Tony Bell mentioned this in a Twitter chat group that I'm in.
That's a great point.
Kwesi is kind of the money guy more than anything. We got to remember we've got Ryan Gregson here, who kind of works on the personnel side of things. He he lost his job in Indy because he sucked at it. Now we've got him here, and if Kwesi is, or if he's in the ear of Kwesi, or that partially can explain some of the draft issues that we had, especially in the beginning. I've never been a big Grigson fan, but they've obviously got something they like about him. But Nympha, good morning. The Filipino fan club is in the house. But back to Norsvi's question, I think it's going to get done. You know, they very well might wait and see how this draft plays out. You know, how Kwesi maneuvers what he needs to get.
And technically, he's still under contract for this year. So
yeah, he is.
I believe he stays. I think I think him and Kevin O'Connell are just kind of packaged together, and they get along so well. As far as you can tell from the outside looking in, it's a good couple.
Yeah, Bob with a great point here. I know, and I
yes, that's a great point, Bob. That's that's good stuff right there.
You still had all of Rick's guys in here. You had all the scouting reports were from Spielman and everything else because they hadn't had time to get the staff in place. Got to remember, Kevin O'Connell came in late because that was the year that the Rams won the Super Bowl. So, he didn't become head coach until this week 4 years ago. So
I like that group of pods that Norse has highlighted down there. It's a great group.
Yeah. There's a lot of great shows out there, and one of us succeed, we all succeed. I've always said that. They're not competitors; they're colleagues.
Right, we're all covering the same stuff. So
right, but yeah, again on the Kwesi thing, I think that gets taken care of. It's just a matter of time, and no need to get the panties in a bunch over it. So
my panties are not bunched.
You're adjusting a bit. But yeah, anyway, so we talked about interior offensive line a little bit. Like I said, I think you have to address that in free agency, not the draft. I mean, drafting somebody is fine, but our buddy Drew has brought this up many times when he's doing his big boards and stuff and talking about these interior offensive line guys. A lot of times it takes 2 to 3 years for some of these guards and players like that to, get into to learn it. Especially nowadays, the offenses in college, they're all going more to that spread offense and these quick, half field reads or quick reads, things that, they don't know how to block like they used to. I mean, you can still go to some of the Big Ten schools, your Minnesotas, your Wisconsins, Iowa, those places still run a lot of those old school football games. I mean, that's why, North Dakota State has put a lot of offensive linemen into the NFL the last few years because they play that old style
power run,
West Coast power run offense. And you got the big old farm boys, from the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska.
Right.
They play at these, South Dakota State.
Yeah.
They're still making old school offensive linemen here, and that's
See, I don't know if I agree with Ann's comment there about Aaron Jones. I don't know if we're ready to move on to that yet. We might swing it right into the.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of hit the offensive line thing.
Did we talk about Aaron Jones and them pushing back the void years?
No, we hadn't got to that yet, but we can go into that now. Yep. Aaron Jones and the Vikings today announced that they pushed the basically the tolling date for the contract.
Perfect. We're getting the right. Yeah.
Yep, we're rolling into that right now. So they moved. It was supposed to be on Monday if they hadn't come up with a deal that then he was due his whatever it was, $3.25 million roster bonus or cap, whatever it was with the contract.
I think that's very telling as to what's going on right now.
Yep, they moved it back to I believe it's 3 days before free agency starts.
And I truly believe, and this goes on Ant's comment a couple comments up there with the if we keep Jones and running back isn't that big of a priority in the draft. I don't agree with that.
No, I disagree with that.
I think that
Um,
their plan is to go get a young guy in the draft. Honestly, I mean,
yeah,
somebody
we
they believe in, not just some Ty Chandler that fell and they're like, well, we can't, he's here, so let's grab
yeah
him. No, they're gonna go get somebody they believe in. I think in the draft.
yeah, and I think they've kind of lost confidence in Ty Chandler. To be honest with you,
Right, and I think that the situation there was where Ty Chandler fell to them, and he should have been drafted higher, but he was there, so that's who they snagged.
mm-hmm.
I think in this case they're gonna prioritize scouting for a running back and where he's gonna be and where and make sure they go get them.
Yeah, and this is an insanely deep running back class, so it's
Yes.
a perfect time to go get one. And we need one of those guys that has the home run hitting ability. We don't have that.
We were talking about that
Aaron Jones. I love Aaron Jones. Great, good player, even better dude. But
we haven't, like we said, we haven't had that. Go ahead.
No,
yes.
I was just saying he doesn't have that hit the hole and take it for 60 yards speed anymore.
Where I'm going here. We haven't had that in at least 5 years since Dalvin Cook's last decent year as a back for us here in Minnesota. It's been a grip since we've had a running back.
It's been a minute, yeah.
And it's been direly needed, especially the last couple of seasons.
Yeah. Aaron Jones isn't going to get that I don't think he's going to get that $8 million that we gave him last year. Now, if he wants to come back for 5, 6, sure.
I'd like to get like an Aaron Jones prime, like an Aaron Jones in his prime type of running back. An all-around back that could play, that could catch the ball in the backfield and run the power game. And that would fit perfectly into this Kevin O'Connell offense as far as what he wants to do in the passing game.
Mm-hmm. It'd be really nice to get somebody else to pair with him to kind of get that Detroit Lions style running game that they've got up there.
I do not like Emir Smith-Marset.
Who brought up Smith-Marset?
Swede.
ISM wasn't a running back. He was a wide receiver, though.
Right. But that's another good thing is we need to find somebody in the punt return game too that can make shit happen and special teams back there.
Yeah, by priority. Yeah, I mean it's going to be it's going to be later in the rounds anyway, because we've got right now we've only got 4 draft picks. We should get a 5th with the 3rd round.
I don't know. I think we could get a good quality back at 24. It just depends on what do we need at that moment. Did we go out and do what we needed to do on the defensive and offensive lines, and that gives us the option to pick somebody that high at running back in the draft? I mean, 24 is in the draft to me right now is the prime position to pick up a good fucking back. But like you said, it's a deep draft.
Yeah, and at 24, I don't know that there's a running back really.
I think we trade back. Obviously.
Yeah, I do too. I think we trade back, but Jonty's going to be obviously gone by then.
I think so. I think Caleb Johnson
he's gone.
Gone.
Caleb Johnson, I mean, he would be a guy that would be in that area that I'd be interested in. Like I said, I haven't started doing the running back breakdown yet to see.
I'm an Avoca Avoca.
Up in my town.
Yep, I'm right in between Slayton and Folda. Avoca.
Yeah, 24. I agree with Norrisvius here. I think 24. I mean, honestly, I don't think we're picking at 24 unless there is a prospect we absolutely love that's sitting there.
This is what I'm thinking. If we can cover the defensive line, the offensive line, and maybe corner and free agency, then I think that leaves that 24th pick. If we're going to pick at that moment, that leaves it pretty open to picking whatever you want as far as,
I mean, and I mean, we do have to pick. We're going to have to re-sign some players. It sounds like they're trying to get something done with Cam Bynum. It's looking more and more like Byron Murphy is probably going to walk.
Yeah, and he's going to be asking a lot, and rightfully so. He's coming off a big season, but he's going to be asking for that money.
Well, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago that Spotrac had him listed at 22.1
Exactly,
million.
Drew. Exactly. I'm in love with Caleb Johnson. God, if we could get him at 24,
Yeah,
Exactly. I'm on the same fucking page here with Drew.
Caleb would be the only guy I would take there. I mean, and like I said, I don't think we're picking 24. We're probably going to be picking closer
I think we're
to
gonna be trading back unless we really
30 to
cover.
31, somewhere in there.
Unless somebody
Maybe
that falls
out
to
of
us
the
that we really covered at 24, I think we're gonna be trading back as well.
yeah.
But I would love to get me Caleb Johnson. God, I would love him in our offense.
Yeah. Yeah, and we know that you have a hard on for the Ohio State running backs, but um,
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I don't even got a gas station in my town.
yeah, yeah, there are two guys out there, and they're both good players, but they're not the only two guys out there. There's a ton of guys. I kind of like the kid from UCF. His name escapes me now, but I watched some of his stuff down in the Senior Bowl, and he was he's a smaller back, but you know he's got some pop to him. Yogi, good evening, long time no see. Uh,
I'm actually doing the show on dial-up modem.
AOL.
Dial-up. Yep.
Lance had to put the disc in the boot drive before he could. Yeah, all right, Harvey. Thanks, Yogi. That's the kid out of UCF that I kind of like him. There's another one. I think he's from Miami. I think was another running back. I forget his. Like I said, I got to get caught up on the names, but
that's what I'm doing in the next 2 weeks is going to start
yeah,
crunching all these college guys.
yeah. I watched a bunch of the Senior Bowl and I wasn't taking notes, and I'm terrible with names. So, but yeah, so we got to get another running back because we have to have a running game that's going to be more efficient than it has been, especially.
And I don't think it matters if Jones gets re-signed or not.
No, I don't think so either. I'll take him back for the right price. He wants to come back, and
if
they
he wants
like
to be a
Aaron
mentor too as well. That'd be fantastic.
They like Aaron Jones, and he is very clutch when it comes down to third down receiving and stuff like that. So he's valuable to the team, but it's all going to come down to money on it and what they can figure out. So, but yeah, as far as cornerback, I think is a spot that could very easily be gone after at that first pick. I hate to say it because seems like we go after pick first round cornerbacks every other year.
I feel like we're gonna get Reed up in here. I think I could see us finding Reed.
I think he's going to be a target. I mean, the four spots, for me anyway, that I think we should be signing or trying to get in free agency is a center, a guard, Milton Williams if you can get him, and a cornerback.
Yes.
DJ Reed is top on my list.
Yep.
You put Reed within, you got Nudie McLaughlin, and you got Blackman coming back.
And then you maybe get Shaq Griffin on a decent deal.
Yeah, and Shaq Griffin's not going to be super expensive. You get him, you put him and DJ Reed on the outside. Right. You're in pretty good shape there, I think. So, Ryan, good evening. But yeah, cornerback, I think we got to do something there, obviously, because Gilmore's not coming back,
right?
And we're going to lose. We're going to lose
more of those positions that you just mentioned. To be honest with you, in free agency.
Yeah, and if you can do that, then I think that that opens you up for picking the best players
in the draft.
Whether it's the 4 to 5 picks or whatever.
Especially if you can get guys coming into their second contracts.
Mm-hmm. I don't want Jeff Okudah, and he never has really panned out. He was supposed to be the next best thing to come out of college when he went to Detroit. Never really was. I mean, he was okay, but not great there, and he hasn't been that good since. So I'm good without him. Drew's got a thing to get to McCarthy. Give you up. We will do that here in just a minute. I feel a rant coming on when we start talking about McCarthy, so I'm going to hold off on that just for a little bit. But yes, we will talk about that.
Paulson Adebo, disgusting act is high on him
Yeah.
as well, and I would be all right with him coming in that
Yeah.
corner as well.
Line help,
25 years old.
Jahdae Barron, cornerback out of Texas. Yeah, he's a guy on the list. I've watched a little bit on him. Saw a couple of games this year that, and he's been, I starting to look at some of the mock drafts. I know mock
Asante
drafts.
Samuel Jr.
What's that?
Asante Samuel Jr. That'd be
Asante Samuel. He's another guy. We talked about him. When we did the free agent breakdown, he'd be a guy I would like to have too. So if you can't get DJ Reed, I think he's a very good target opportunity as well. No more defending Bradbury. I don't know who's defending Bradbury. We've been ripping his ass for the last 5 years, but there's some of the media people that I've been listening to this. I know. I think Doogie Wolfson got into a kind of a pissing match with somebody on Twitter X here a few weeks ago about Bradbury, and I don't know why. I don't understand how they can defend him. I mean,
I think it's just his character, I mean, he's a good guy. He really is, but he just can't cut it on the football field. Right. That's what matters.
Yeah. I mean, yes, he's a good guy, but we got a lot of good guys on the offensive line.
We need his character, trying to get him to keep his job and all that, when in reality, we just need somebody that can do the job.
We need somebody who's going to keep a pocket there, and he's not that guy. He's never been that guy.
Exactly, Drew. Once again,
and that's why I put DJ Reed as probably. I mean, he's one of my top 3 targets in free agency. I go back and forth. I think if you're, for me anyway, targeting positions for free agency.
That better not be the only reason they keep Bradbury, Swede. But anyways.
Well, any center can make the calls at the line. It's just he's good at that, yes, but he's not good at the execution.
He doesn't have the physical tools to handle the position.
No. But I think you prioritize cornerback, you prioritize interior offensive line, your center and guard. And if you can bring in a Milton Williams or somebody like that on the defensive line, you do that as well. Defensive line can, I think you have a better shot of getting somebody that can play right away if you draft a defensive lineman. So if you can't get him.
With the right fucking staff and the right tools and the right personnel that we bring in, this team right now it was going to be looking pretty good going into next season.
No. You start looking at the national stuff. They're all picking Minnesota. They're going to have a big fall off next year.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They're
good.
They're picking us 4th in the division already. So
we'll show them what happened this year when they did that. We'll show them again next year, and we'll be even better.
Yeah, but of course,
I've seen the bright years coming. They are coming. They just wait and see. JJ McCarthy's going to tear this fucking league up.
Well, and since you are now brought up Bradbury. Brought up McCarthy. Now is as good a time as any to hit that part of it. We'll start off with Drew's comment before we forget it. What do you think year 1 numbers for Mr. McCarthy would be?
I'm going to say 9 picks. Let's go with 32 touchdowns and 3,900 yards passing. I could see more than that, though, with the yards passing. People think this kid can't throw the ball around the yard. They're going to find out that he can this year.
He had the 2nd highest velocity at the combine last year. I mean, the kid's got an arm.
And then they throw up that shot of him throwing that pick in the preseason, but then he turns around and he goes and throws 2 more touchdowns right after that. So,
Well, and the thing, it's the lazy fucking narrative, but they talk out both sides of them. First, it's JJ McCarthy's not anything because he came from a run-heavy Michigan team. He didn't have to throw the ball 35, 40 times a game because they were running all over everybody.
That's what they asked of him, and that's what he did.
Right, and that's big boy football. You go out and you run the hell over people and you dare them to stop you, and you keep doing it until they do. And people could not stop Michigan from running the ball on them, so you don't have to go. It's not sexy because you're not putting up 400 or 500 yards in the air every goddamn game. But they won a damn national championship because of it.
That'd be kind of. I think the yards have to be up there more, Norse, because I think that he's going to be chucking it downfield too a little bit more than we expect.
In a Kevin O'Connell offense, if you only throw for 2,900 yards playing a full season, that's not
looking good to me. No, but I do like the 29. I do like the touchdown to interception spread there.
The 29-6. I can go on that, but I think he's pushing 4,000 yards, 3,800 at least.
In Norse's case, if that's the case, that means that we brought in somebody pretty damn good at the running back position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this JJ McCarthy, this whole quarterback thing, it's starting to drive me fucking nuts.
Let's hear it.
There is a thing in this fan base. There is a debilitating fear from a big chunk of people about letting JJ McCarthy play quarterback. Oh, he's not. I got into it with somebody today who said we're going to bring Kirk Cousins back to start because JJ McCarthy's not ready to play football. Every other first-round quarterback in that 2024 draft started this year, other than JJ, and the only reason he didn't start was because of his knee injury.
If I'm JJ and I hear that, that's a slap in my face. I think at this point.
And you got all this shit coming out there. The national media is trying to come up with every possible scenario other than letting JJ McCarthy be the quarterback. If you're not going to play him, why the fuck did you waste a 10th round pick on a quarterback?
Number 10 in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's starting this coming season. I think we can maybe bring somebody in as a viable backup, but I think the plan is we're going to kick the tires on this kid and see what he's got.
Well, you have to. I mean, this team was set up for that rookie contract. Justin Jefferson's $35 million a year was set up with the intentions of the quarterback getting a rookie scale deal. That's no coincidence that Justin Jefferson's big contract ends when they would have to extend JJ McCarthy. He's absolutely ready.
Bianchi, you're absolutely right. Norse, you're right. He's ready. He's proved he can make all the throws. If the people actually go and watch the tape on this kid, I mean,
yeah, he's
going to come back player of the year next year. I guarantee.
It's not like he was just sitting on the couch playing Fortnite this entire offseason when he wasn't playing. I mean, I saw somebody say, "Oh yeah, well he's too frail because he hasn't bulked up or whatever." He wasn't able to go into the workout room and do a lot of that stuff. I mean,
which is common. It's common.
Yeah, and you've got 6 months until training camp. He's got plenty of time to bulk up and gain some weight by then.
Meniscus tear.
Yeah.
Meniscus tear. Not an ACL tear. Not even an MCL tear. A meniscus tear.
You and it wasn't even a full tear. They just did the full surgery to be extra cautious about it.
Right.
But you listen to a lot of these people, they act like his leg fell off. I've heard ACL surgery. I've heard 2 surgeries. I've heard this. I've heard that. But I mean, you got these national people out there. It's the Matt Stafford trade is coming back again. You got to pay Sam Darnold $45 million. You can't let him go because you have no option at quarterback. And the one that's really fucking getting my goat now is this goddamn Aaron Rodgers bullshit again. People, Aaron Rodgers is not going to be wearing a Minnesota Vikings jersey. It's not happening. But you got all these people out there. Oh, there was a guy on Twitter, and if you're watching, I mean, I'm going to bring it up. His handle is like #1 JJ McCarthy or JJ McCarthy that JJ McCarthy QB1 something, and he's out there advocating for bringing in Aaron Rodgers to be the starting quarterback for this team.
Yeah.
What is there? There is absolutely no benefit whatsoever to bringing Aaron Rodgers into this team.
No.
None.
Not unless you want O'Connell losing the job. Most of the staff get losing their job too.
Yeah, and he
Huge
starts
schism.
he starts playing like he did for a lot of the season in New York. When he gets that,
Yeah.
fucking sucking on a lime face that he's got and all that, and starts throwing his teammates underneath the bus because he screwed up and he won't take responsibility for it. No. He's 42 years old. He's at the end of his career. He's nowhere near the quarterback that he was. People are still hanging on this. Oh, he's an MVP and he won the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl 15 years ago.
Yeah.
He hadn't even been back to the Super Bowl since
Let's get
then.
this JJ McCarthy train rolling. And the thing is, people don't realize that the kid literally sleeps, eats, and lives football.
Yeah. Eats, sleeps, drinks, and shits football.
Yes.
But so it's just I don't get why. And it's not just I can excuse the national media because they're lazy and they just come up with narratives and throw shit against the wall to see if it sticks. But why is the fan base so against this?
Drew with the perfect comment to sum it all up.
Yeah, and that's been exactly my point. Rodgers is about the furthest thing from what you want to throw into this culture that they spent 3 years building.
Exactly. That's the perfect.
He held the Jets hostage for 2 years. He held the Packers hostage for 3 years before that. And when he was with Green Bay, it was, they won't get me any weapons. They won't do this. They won't do that. He goes to the Jets and he brings every fucking weapon that he had in Green Bay with him. If they were that bad, why did he have to bring them with? You can't tell me that they were going to go grab all these decrepit, washed up has-beens or never will be wide receivers that Green Bay had if Rodgers didn't want them. Skull for Life Barbara, good evening. I'm good. I gotta take a deep breath here.
Back into your skin.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I just don't understand this fear that some people in this fan base has about letting JJ McCarthy start. I mean, you have that rookie contract for a reason.
Yes.
And if you're not going to let him play on it, then you shouldn't have drafted him.
Another good point. And you got half the fan base that wanted to see the kid play this year. Let the kid.
I still believe it. If he hadn't gotten hurt, there'd have been a very good shot.
After that Jacksonville game. After that Jacksonville game, would have been a good chance that McCarthy would have came in.
At the very least, it would have been then. And they asked Kevin O'Connell about this at this last week. If they did the hypothetical, if JJ McCarthy hadn't gotten hurt, who would have been the starter?
You keep Jones. If you can keep Daniel Jones, you keep Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think unless Jones, gets a deal, to go someplace and start, which he gave up that opportunity with the Raiders to come here, does he think maybe sitting here for the last?
A game plan for JJ McCarthy could look similar for a game plan for Daniel Jones if he had to come into a game and play.
Yeah.
So.
And I think, you do a deal with Daniel Jones like you did with Darnold this year. You give him, 1 year, $8-9 million bucks.
You could take $7 or $8 million for 1 year to stay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
who the fuck do you want as a backup with Ant?
Yeah, if you don't want Daniel Jones, who do you want as a backup? We're bringing Nick Mullins back again.
Right.
There's not. No. This is a very weak free agency class for quarterback. Ryan, absolutely.
No on a fucking Jimmy G.
I'm not a Jimmy G. If you need him for a game or two, yeah, he can probably come in and win you a game or two. But he can't stay healthy. So if you had to turn to him for any length of time, we could be looking at a 2023.
I question his locker room leadership as well.
Yeah, I do too. He's,
where Daniel Jones is the complete opposite. Big locker room guy.
Yeah. Garoppolo's more concerned about dating porn stars or whatever it was that he was dealing with when he was in San Francisco.
I think you roll with Jones if Jones is willing to stick around for the right price.
Mm-hmm. And I think the fact that Garoppolo couldn't pan out in San Francisco, I think that's telling too, because
Garoppolo,
Shanahan.
50 minutes of fame have came and gone.
Yep, but the Shanahan offense is very similar to the McVay O'Connell style offense. So they have not been talking to him. It's not free agency yet. He's still on roster on a team. They have not been talking to him. Man, stop reading Viking Age, or I'm just calling everybody out tonight. Some of these off the wall clickbait sites that are talking about this. I mean, they're.
Oh wow. Cam Ward, the only first-round quarterback talent this year.
That is not an unpopular. I mean, it may be unpopular, Yogi, but you're 100% correct in my opinion.
This is a very, very weak quarterback class. I'm glad that we got our guy last year.
Yeah. No, I mean, unquestioned, JJ McCarthy would be the first overall pick this year if he was coming to the draft. And I agree with you. Cam Ward is the only only quarterback I would consider taking in the first round.
This is like an EJ Manuel type of.
Yeah. Shedeur Sanders, I've said this multiple times. If his name was Shedeur Jones, he'd be a second or a third, mid second round, maybe even an early third round quarterback. I'm not sold on Shedeur Sanders. The only reason he's even close to where he is because his old man is Dion. Jacoby Brissett, you're better with Daniel Jones than you are Jacoby Brissett. Brissett,
and the fact that Jones has already been here a season and already knows the system.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't mind Brissett, but I'd rather go with Jones.
Norsevius, I think you're right on this too. Jackson Dart would be my QB2 this year. Sanders is probably QB3. Tyler doesn't like Jackson Dart now. I mean, Tyler knows more about draft than any of us, but respectfully disagree. I guess from what I've seen of Jackson Dart, I think he's got some potential to be something. I mean, and again, this is a very weak quarterback class, so it's Windex, Drew, not cooking spray. But yeah, I mean, I'm in on Daniel Jones as the backup quarterback.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be very open to coming back here again to get a full year underneath the Kevin O'Connell on a 1-year deal. It's what it will be.
Yeah,
he'll come in here, he'll do that, and he'll kind of do what Sam Darnold did for that year in San Francisco,
and then go look for a job elsewhere. I think.
And then come back out, because he's still young enough. He's like 26, he's 26, 27, whatever it is. Tampering is legal now. Atlanta set the precedent. You're not wrong, Bob, but
I agree.
Yep, I do too. Barber, yes, thank you. Again, make sure you guys hit that like button while you're in here. Follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Lean towards that. Got to watch more on Dart. Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to put a ton of time into the quarterbacks this year just because we don't need to draft one.
I wouldn't be surprised if only one quarterback went in the first round this year, to be honest.
Shedeur Sanders will go first round just because I don't think he should, but I think he will. Because there's too many teams that need quarterbacks. Now, some of that's going to get taken care of in free agency because Darnold is going to go someplace. I've heard of, I think Darnold, very good chance he could end up like with the Raiders. I think if Stafford moves on, which it sounds like the Rams might be ready to move off Matt Stafford. I think Darnold in LA would be a perfect fit. But then you got like Tennessee, who's picking up at the top of the draft. What's that?
Vegas needs its quarterback too, but
yeah. So it depends on
Yep.
And I think even if like Tennessee gets a quarterback in free agency, which they'd be smart to, I think they still probably, they got the spot there. They probably take Cam Ward. Do the Raiders and Shedeur Sanders seem like a fit to me just because they're the Raiders?
Oof,
But
Milroe to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do not like Milroe.
I'm not a big fan of
He's more of a
Alabama
project, I
quarterbacks.
think. I think he's more of a project than anything.
Yeah, and Milroe's not a first-round quarterback.
No.
Rippon, the team does like Rippon. They like what he's been doing with the scout team and stuff. So I think Rippon is back as the third quarterback. I don't think he's not going to be QB2, I don't think.
No, I would not, Yogi.
No, I absolutely would not either. We still have Jordan Addison for 3 more years on rookie contract. I saw somebody make the deal or the comment
Cup
earlier.
Would be a great pickup too. I would have Cup in the slot. That would be his primary spot for me.
Skull Mafia, hey, good evening. The thing with Cooper Kupp, people got to remember, he's like 32 years old now too, so he's not a spring chicken anymore.
Yeah.
If Cooper Kupp were to come to Minnesota, and I know he's been linked there, and they're gonna release him unless somebody comes in and wants to trade for him.
Yeah, Addison's staying.
Yeah,
he ain't going nowhere.
No, Cooper Kupp would be wide receiver 3 here. He would not be he's not taking Jordan Addison's job.
Right, he'd be wide receiver 3.
Now, if Jordan Addison does end up being suspended for a couple of games, having somebody like Cooper Kupp to step in would be all right. But we still got they're not going to prioritize the wide receiver in free agency or anything like that.
I don't believe so either. No,
because you look at it. Jalen Naylor was our wide receiver 3 this year. He did fine when early on.
I think he could have been better with a better quarterback because a lot of those routes they had him running underneath weren't getting thrown to.
Right. He only had like 400 yards receiving this year as the third wide receiver. So
a lot of times you look at that tape and you see him running wide open, but Darnold's always trying to go for the deep shot.
Yeah, and that was the thing. When you put a JJ McCarthy back there, he's not going to be holding the ball for 6-7 seconds like Darnold did, especially in those last 2 games against the Rams and the Lions. He's going to be getting that ball out. He's going to be using the tight end a lot. He did that in Michigan.
Just going to say, look what he did with Loveland over there at Michigan.
Yeah, McCarthy thrives in that middle of the field kind of stuff. Yeah, he's going to be able to let the ball rip down to Jefferson and Addison going deep down the field too, but he's going to use Hawkinson. He's going to use some of that short underneath intermediate stuff to the running backs and things like that. And
these late shows.
Doc just being too Don Juan with the old lady there.
We still have Tristan Jackson on the roster there, Ant. I like me some Tristan Jackson too.
No, he's not. He got plucked off the practice squad.
Oh, he did get plucked up. Okay.
Yeah, I forget where he went, but
well, I wish him well. I think he deserved a spot on the roster, but
yeah, I mean, he played well in a. We had the discussion at the end of last year. Sherfield beat him out just because of his blocking ability, his special team stuff, and I mean, Sherfield played really well on special teams last year.
We need somebody that we can bring in here that can make an impact on special teams at punt returner.
Yeah, Brandon Powell is not a punt returner.
Sure-handed. I will give him that. You didn't have to worry about Powell, catching the punt.
No.
But the thing is, I want something after that.
Problem is, he'd catch it and then wouldn't run with it. Yeah.
Right.
We need somebody who can return punts. It doesn't need to be a wide receiver. It can be a cornerback. It can be a running back. It doesn't matter. Just so he gets.
To Ant's comment that with the Sherfield, I think we've seen what Sherfield is as a receiver and what he brings to the table.
Sherfield's never going to be anything more than a wide receiver 4.
He's not going to be anything more than what we already seen.
No, he was here for special teams and blocking. He's a very good blocking one. Well, Lance, your fan is back again.
Fan is in here, indeed.
Turpin. I mean, Turpin's got some punt return ability. I mean, I can see that, but you could find one of these young guys that they bring in, whether it's a draft pick or maybe we've hit really well on the undrafted free agents. You can find somebody as a UDFA that comes in and can return punts for you. Fish and chips with calamari appetizer. Yeah. We'll excuse you for that then, Doc. But so I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen here, but none of it's going to happen for the next couple of weeks. There's going to start being some talk stuff. The combine is coming up. That's where you have the unofficial tampering, where some of these, the agents and stuff are starting to talk back and forth and things where they're going. Sam Darnold, I think that the Vikings aren't going to try too hard to bring him back. I think he sealed his fate with those last two games. Had he balled out,
the plan was always in place. That
it was
that way.
Now, if Sam Darnold had come out against the Lions and the Rams and played like he did,
that's when it would get interesting. Yes,
for a lot of the season, I think then you could have made a case for it.
Right.
But this just is going back to stick with the plan that they had. The Darnold last year was going to start had McCarthy not got hurt, the initial plan was that Darnold was going to start. And I agree with you, Lance. If that had happened, I think McCarthy would have started coming out of that Jacksonville game the following week.
Yep.
And we may have had a completely different end of the season. You got to remember, the kid has only lost 3 football games in his entire life.
Yeah. And won multiple championships at every level. Yeah.
I mean, you look at, what happened 3 years ago in that semifinal game with TCU. When they lost, he came in there and he said, "This is completely unacceptable. We're coming back next year. We're winning the national championship." They came back the following year. They went undefeated and they won the Natty.
I think he's the epitome of what you want at the guy touching the ball every single play.
He is. You watch him play. He's got the people. And I heard people talk about this.
He's a fucking magnet.
People gravitate to him. They were talking about this in training camp last year. The beat writers and stuff that were sitting there watching practice all the time. It was people were just naturally drawn to the kid. He's got that. He's got the it factor. He's got the swagger. He's got the moxie.
And the fact that we went to Michigan and he's like, if all you guys want to do is party and chase women, I don't want you on my team.
Yeah. When they had him for recruiting, that's go someplace else if that's what you want. If you want to win football games, come here.
Exactly. From the horse's mouth. That's who you want leading this fucking team, or a team.
Yeah, and I mean, the kid, he
wants to be great. He's shooting for the Hall of Fame. I'm not ready to put his gold jacket on, but this is the mindset that this kid has.
Yeah, and they talk about this. Oh, he's not ready. He's not ready. He's been doing the VR training the entire time that he's been, during the rehab and all this stuff. So he's.
And you think he doesn't hear all these people saying that he's not ready? He's going to come in with a big fucking chip on his shoulder next year.
Yeah. Well, and the stupid thing that I got to laugh at, like, the national media who, don't expect us to remember what they said from one week to the next. You've got people saying that McCarthy is not ready and shouldn't be playing or whatever. And then all of a sudden you got the next guy comes in and have us trading him up to number 3 to Cleveland or whatever the hell for Myles fucking Garrett.
Exactly, Skull Mafia.
Absolutely.
The thing is that McCarthy's going to come in and he's going to start feeling comfortable and, he's like, I can fucking do this. And that's when shit's going to get scary for the rest of the league.
Yeah, I mean, will McCarthy have his struggles his first year? Yeah, he's most likely.
But I expect nothing less for this kid to turn around and overcome whatever struggles those may be throughout games, throughout the season.
we saw it in the very small sample size. You brought it up earlier, that preseason game that he played, went out there and he threw an interception. He learned
Took
from
it
it. He
on.
turned around, came right back and threw 2 touchdowns. That's the thing that you want. And then, he's got that, he's out there, he's, celebrating with his
He is
teammates. They
loved.
go down and score.
Yes.
You've
He's
got
going to be the first
that,
one in the end zone to whoever he throws a touchdown to celebrate and building that guy up.
yeah. I mean, we don't want him going down there and lead blocking for the guys like he did in college a couple times there. But yeah, he's going to be down. He's got that kind of, I've mentioned this before. He's got that Brett Favre-esque
He makes the game fun for
passion and love
everyone
for
that
the
plays
game.
with him.
Yeah.
He plays like a boy playing back, and it just for the you can see the love of the game in the kid's face and the way he
Mm-hmm.
plays the game.
Yeah. I mean, football is his life. And he wants to, he has the unquestioned desire to be great. And he is going to continue to work at it and continue to perfect his craft to try to get to that point. And I fully believe you get McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell together. May not happen the first year, but within a couple of years, this team is going to be on the way to great things.
And the fact that O'Connell's gotten the most out of every quarterback that he's had strap it up for him.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what he can do with somebody he brings in and grooms.
Yeah.
To be his guy.
He got the best two games out of Josh Dobbs' career, for crying out loud.
Yes.
Calling plays through the headset, because the guy didn't.
And up until Jaron Hall getting his fucking head cracked in that Atlanta game, he had Jaron Hall playing pretty well too.
Yeah.
And then going into the preseason, Jaron Hall was looking pretty good. But O'Connell brings the best out of any guy that straps it up for him, basically.
Yeah. Dylan with a comment here. Good evening, by the way. Welcome to the show. Love having the newer comments and new people showing in. Excited to struggle and learn. Yeah, even if there is a struggle with McCarthy.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a smooth transition. I truly believe that it's going to be a smooth transition. He's going to take the league by storm.
Yeah, I don't think it's not going to turn around and be a 4 to 6 win
Yes,
season.
will he throw some interceptions? Yes, might he have a couple fumbles? But I think it's going to be as smooth as a transition into the league as you've seen from anybody.
Yeah. Josh Oliver will be a top target for McCarthy. Yeah, he's another guy that everybody continues to forget about Oliver. I mean, when he's had to, he's gotten the reputation as being a great blocking tight end, which he is. But everybody forgets when he was in college, he was a very good pass
He was a
catcher.
hell of a receiving tight end in college, yes.
He got the reputation as a run blocker because he played for the Ravens and was out there run blocking for Lamar Jackson a lot of times. Wouldn't trade me. They're not going to trade Hawkinson. Hawkinson's going to be critical for the McCarthy.
I don't think we have the depth there to really even throw that up in the air unless we're looking at somebody else in the free agency or going to go draft somebody.
Yeah, and I don't see them taking a tight end in the draft, not early especially. I mean, you might pick up a UDFA or something depending upon who.
It's a good point there, Doc.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, we've never picked a quarterback that high. And the last time we were anywhere close to that was the Rick Spielman panic pick. And I don't know if some of that is what causes some of the apprehension in some of these people.
Well, yeah, because they get fucking nightmares about Christian Ponder, and the thing is, and people even want to compare McCarthy to Christian Ponder, which is beyond belief to me.
Well, and the thing that everybody forgets is nobody had Christian Ponder ranked as a first-round quarterback.
No.
The run went on. Spielman thought he was going to get a Jake Locker or somebody like that, and I think I've heard multiple times in the past that Jake Locker was the guy that they were going after. And the Titans ended up taking him ahead of time, and the run was going. You had a few of those other guys. That was another poor quarterback draft class anyway, but got to that point and all the guys that the Vikings were looking at were gone, Spielman's like, oh shit, I need a quarterback. Oh, who's next on the list? Christian Ponder. He's a third round pick. I don't care. Take him now.
Yeah.
You know,
He panicked.
Spielman was notoriously bad for those panic moves, whether it was in the draft or whether it was having to go sign somebody at the last second. You know, you can't look back at the past
No.
and be scared of the future because the
No.
last time something you did something, you know, there's nobody here now that was here when Christian Ponder got picked, except the Wilfs, and the Wilfs didn't really have anything to do with it.
Right.
You got to remember, Rick Spielman got fired from here because he couldn't find, develop, and secure a franchise quarterback.
He put us into fucking hell when it came to the
salary cap hell because he got toward the end of his tenure, he couldn't find anybody in the draft, so he had to keep overpaying for the free agents. And Zimmer, of course, didn't help because you got his guys. We got to keep my guys around, so then they started overpaying for them. But
I got a Ponder jersey in the closet.
I bought the media. Yeah, I never got to that point. I mean,
well, it didn't help that before that we went and got Tavares Jackson, who's somebody that Brad Childers thought he could turn into Donovan McNabb.
Well, there again, yeah, that was the thing because Brad Childers was always the smartest man in the room, and if you didn't believe it, just ask him; he would tell you. But yeah, he thought he could just take some rando quarterback and mold him. You know, he said it was a lump of clay that he was going to mold.
Right, into Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, but you know the thing with nobody looks back at Tavares Jackson really that horribly because because he was what, a third round pick.
Yeah, because of the circumstance. I think he was either a second or a third round.
I think he was a third round pick. But if Christian Ponder had been drafted in the third round or wherever it was, right now wherever he was that he was projected to go, there would not be the hate and the vitriol and everything against Christian Ponder because the expectations when he was drafted as a first-round quarterback came in and it was unrealistic, and they sold it as he was going to be the guy when pretty much anybody that looked at him playing college knew that he wasn't going to be a good pro.
Just quick answer to Dylan from me. Either guard or center and then defensive tackle.
Yeah. I think guard and center, honestly. And then for me, it's cornerback. We talked about that earlier in the show, so if you didn't catch that, go back and rewatch that part of it. I like DJ Reed. I think he's a really good fit for Florida's defense. Milton Williams, we talked about him on the defensive line. And then, of course, Dahlman, Kelly, Freeze, all those guys, that at guard and centers. So
this interior of the offensive line is the biggest fucking weak spot on this team.
Free agency isn't deep at nose tackle, defensive tackle. There's still some guys out there. There's some good players out there. It's just not a ton of them.
Williams would be a great fit.
Milton Williams, with his postseason that he had this year, did himself a ton of favors. I don't know that Philly's going to be able to bring him back. But I think he's a guy we should definitely have on the radar.
Yeah.
But but we talked about this again earlier. I think you can find that guy that can make an impact in the draft early on.
Kinlaw would be a good look too. Yeah.
Yeah, Kinlaw's another one. Fulton's another one.
Kinlaw's just the injury concerns for me. That's just what it is for me.
It is.
When he's on the field at 100%, the dude is a force. Yes.
Yeah, he's a good player, and to me that would be like a Jerry Tillery kind of guy coming in right now. I think he's better than Tillery, but
yes, and the guy that Ed just mentioned,
Onzuwerke, he's a guy that would be okay. He's not a big pass rush guy.
The dude from Dallas,
Oguzie.
Yes.
Yeah, he would be the next guy behind Milton Williams that I'd look at. because he's still young enough, and he's a good player, and he's
Yes.
got that pass rush
And I think
ability.
he's
So
just entering his peak,
yeah,
coming in.
yeah,
So
because I think he's like 26, 27 right in there too. So he's coming off that contract. He's in that range that Quasey likes. So Trey Smith lost money and back to the Milton game. Yeah, you're right,
yeah,
Norris Face. I think that now again, I don't know how much Trey Smith lost because off of one game, I don't think that it's gonna affect it too much. Now, Williams and Milton, yeah, they played well the entire postseason, so I think they helped themselves definitely. But I still think Trey Smith is going to be the top interior lineman gone, and I think someone's going to overpay for him. And I don't think it's going to be us.
if we can address the interior offensive line, the defensive tackle position, and the corner position, then we're going to be sitting pretty going into
Yeah.
the draft.
And I don't go for that stick it to a division rival by signing one of their players, especially when that player's mid anyway.
Yeah, I got the guy from Dallas just above the guy from Detroit.
Yeah.
The two fucking odd namers.
Yeah. Onzawerki, he's I would call him at best a tier 2 free agent, maybe into that tier 3. Aguzie and Milton Williams would be my tier 1s.
Top tier, yeah. And I think even Kinlaw, I think would be tier 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nadi out of Kansas City, guy to watch out for. Like I said, I'm trying. I try not to get radar locked on one particular player in general. I mean, as I've been sitting here preaching DJ Williams and stuff, most of the episode, but sometimes there are just natural fits, but there are other options too, and you have to have contingencies for that because you can't go all in. Yeah, we're going to go get DJ Reed. We're going to go get DJ Reed. All of a sudden, Jacksonville swoops in and gives him a $23 million a year contract or something like that.
That's just it. That happens.
Mm-hmm. What happened last year with what's his face, the defensive tackle that we thought we were getting from Miami?
They went to Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy.
Yeah, I can't think of his name right now either. But anywho, USA men's hockey beat Canada. It's going to be a good night. Hey, it's always a good night when the U.S. wins at anything. So,
we always do a mock draft.
We will, Norris Fias. We're going to start getting into the mock drafts. We'll do one mock draft live on the show right before the draft. Our last show probably before the draft.
Yep.
But we're going to start doing some player profiles and things like that. And then, obviously when free agency opens up, we'll hit that hard too. But with that, we've actually been going for an hour and 10 minutes here almost now. Lance and I were talking before the show that, this might be a 30 to 40 minute show, depending upon what you guys brought. So thank you guys. You brought a ton of questions, a ton of discussion, as you always do. And we couldn't do this live stuff without you guys. Great conversation all night long. So thank you for that. Programming note, we are going to be taking the next couple of weeks off. Got some stuff going on, things like that. We want to spend the time getting our ducks in a row for some of the
college
tape study and stuff like that. And there's not really much going on now for the next couple of weeks. So we will be off the next 2 weeks, but we will be back on, was it the 7th of March?
Right. Yep, 7th of March, Friday the 7th.
Friday the 7th, we'll be back, and we'll be ready to hit the free agency stuff there. We'll talk about the scouting, combine, all of that stuff. So with that, again, thank you guys very much. Shout out to the Filipino fan club again. Shout out to all you guys in the chat. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and follow as you head out the door. And Disgusting Act, yeah. Go back and watch. It was a pretty good episode. A lot of good discussion from the chat, as always. So make sure that you check that out. But with that, thank you guys again. And why don't you take us home, Brunswick?
It's a great show, great episode. We mark 5 years our next episode here in 2 weeks. So, and with that being said, you guys all enjoy your time away, and we'll see you guys next time on Vikings Uncensored. Let's go.
One other thing before we go, our buddies Drew and Ted and Chris, made the announcement here that Vikings Report will be wrapping up due to some circumstances. I don't want to jump on the touchdown call, but make sure you watch their show on Wednesday. They're doing a farewell show, and then they will be doing a live draft party thing again. But those guys helped us out a ton when we got started. And good,
big reason is why we have the show.
Yeah, I mean, without those guys, we probably wouldn't be here either. So just a shout out to those guys for everything that they've done. Over 5 years, they became one of the highest viewed Vikings podcasts out there. So, big shout out to those guys. And, it's going to leave a hole, but, make sure you go check those guys out. I believe it's Wednesday. They're doing their big wrap-up show. So, but with that, have a great weekend, guys, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. Skol. Kept pushing the wrong buttons.
Yeah. I've seen that I can actually show comments over here too. So if I see things when it's blank, like sometimes I do.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So that'll come in handy later on too.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll see the comment and then you'll have a hard time finding it or whatever. But if I'm able to pop it up with nothing else is already up there, then
yeah. I didn't. I guess I never thought about that, but yeah, you should be since you're not a guest. You're set up as a contributor. Right. So
yeah. So, anyways, we'll let you go and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'm sure I'll talk to you before then. But
hold on. I think we're still live.